What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV here, back here with another match preview. Massive 6-pointer this weekend at Stamford Bridge as Jose's Tottenham travel all the way over to West London to face Frank Lampard's Chelsea for the second time this season. First time, you all know what happened. Tottenham came on top in a penalty shootout. In a game where you would say, in that particular game, it was probably Chelsea's first team against a much depleted Spurs team. Definitely. Chelsea had a much stronger lineup out. We had a game a couple of days later on the Thursday when we played the League Cup game on the Tuesday, and we definitely had the better of the game. We were unlucky not to win in normal time. I think we ground out the result, made it to penalties, and ended up going through. But I think that was one of the games that convinced me this season that Tottenham might be onto something, because to come up with a really depleted squad against a very, very strong Chelsea team and get a result in the manner that we did, I was very impressed with that. And you saw, I think, at the end, Jose in Sacramento, the way they celebrated. People were like, oh, why are you celebrating a Carling Cup victory like that? It was only a fourth round. Nobody gave us a chance that day. That's the point. No one thought we had a chance in hell of getting through in that tie. And I thought we did extremely well to even make a game of it. Not only make a game of it, but go through as well. We were more than competitive. We deserved to go through. So I think that's why Mourinho and Sacramento were so happy after that game, and I think it showed the mentality of the squad. Do you think that Kane and Son, who didn't start that day, will be the real difference on the weekend? For sure, it's going to be a massive difference to the attacking threat that we had. Because you remember, in the Carling Cup game, we had a few nice attacks and a few nice positions, but with Bergwijn and Lamela up front, we just didn't have that firepower. And it's going to be very, very different now with Kane and Son in the lineup to complement. Hopefully, it looks like we're going to think Bergwijn will probably play. And with Ndombele, who started that game and played really well, he's going to be backed up by Højbjerg, who I don't think started. I think it was him and Jedson, wasn't it? It was Ndombele and Jedson last time. Do you think Ndombele definitely starts, though? Because he started it on Thursday night. Yeah, no doubt about it. Does he have the legs and the fitness to start 2 games in a week? 100%. There is 0% chance that Ndombele does not play this game. I'm telling you. You don't think Lo Celso could start? He might. I don't know. I'm not sure. Could Lo Celso start? Maybe, but Ndombele is playing. I'm telling you that right now. There's no chance Ndombele puts in the performance he did on Thursday for an hour, and he puts in the performance he did against Man City, and he doesn't play this game. I cannot see that at all. And I think Ndombele is our most well, it's hard to say he's our most informed because of how well Højbjerg is playing, but he's up there in terms of midfield, centre mids this season in the whole Premier League. He is up there. You just have to play him. You have to. Can't not. When you look at Chelsea, where do you see us kind of getting at them when you've seen them play this season? Yeah, look, I think defensively, you could see that at the beginning of the season they were suffering from that. They were definitely struggling. 3 against Southampton, 3-0. 3 against West Brom. 3 against West Brom. They conceded a few other goals here and there. They definitely tightened that up, and that's got to be a worry. That's got to be a worry. Silva's come in, and they've only conceded 2 in their last 5 games or something. Yeah, since that draw against Man United, that's 1, 2, 3, 4. In their last 4 games, they've conceded 1 goal. Yeah, in the Premier League. So they really have sharpened up defensively, which is a worry, because not only that, they are still scoring. It's hasn't taken away from their scoring. You know, in 6 of their 9 games, they've scored 3 or more goals. Wow. That's impressive. Look, that's impressive. Everyone knows their attacking force this season, and what worries me a bit is the Timo Werner situation, because I don't even think he's playing that well. I don't think he's playing at the top of his game. That's the worry. Exactly, that's what I'm saying. That is the worry, because he's still scoring goals week in, week out. And we're not seeing the best Timo Werner. He's missing easy chances week in, week out, but he's still putting one away. So that just proves how much chances they're creating each game. Yeah, Werner's a class act, and he was banging goals for fun in Bundesliga. And it's only a matter of time, in my opinion, before he starts smashing him in consistently. I think he's only got 4 goals in the league. 4 goals in the league, yeah. But I mean, that's actually not, like, 4 in 9 is not terrible. Obviously, when you're comparing him to like Son and Kane, it's like, okay, is he that good? But no, he will. But for your first season in the Premier League, that is very good going. Yeah, usually strikers can take a while to settle in, and he seems to be settling in fine. And the thing with Werner is he's so versatile, left, centre. He's equally adept in either position. He's equally tore us apart in the Champions League last year as well. He did. It was tough to deal with him, really tough. I know we're a different team now, but still, it was very tough to deal with him. So, look, he's definitely one you got to watch out for. Ziyech
has been one of the form
Yeah,
players in the
talking
past
about
couple of
tearing
weeks.
apart in the Champions League.
Yeah, well, he's going to have PTSD from our Champions League tie.
Although he scored a great goal against us, was it in the first leg?
Second leg.
Second leg.
Second leg. The second goal to put them 2-0 up. Really good. And he hit the post.
Yeah.
He'll probably be thinking about that. Hitting the post. I think literally it was about a minute before we scored.
Yeah.
They had a break and he hit the post. So, look, Ziyech, he's a class act. We all know about him.
I actually doubted Ziyech when he joined Chelsea, but I've been completely proved wrong because these last 3 or 4 games, he's been sensational.
I'll wait on that because, yes, I agree. He's been sensational past 3 or 4 games. They have played Burnley, Sheffield United, Newcastle, teams who do like to sit back, soak up pressure, and don't pressure the ball too much. Although we like to sit back, we're not a team who sits back and waits for you to come. We don't do that. We sit back with a plan of when we're going to press and when we're going to nick the ball off you. Whereas Burnley, Sheffield United, Newcastle, I feel like their plan isn't as well defined as our one, so it allows Ziyech a lot more time on the ball. We'll have to wait and see. I feel like actually Ziyech could come up against a bit of kryptonite against Reguilon.
Maybe.
I think because I think you saw against Mahrez how he dealt with him, and Mahrez I feel like is a better dribbler and he's better on the ball than Ziyech. Ziyech is very good at kind of finding a defensive splitting pass. He's quite good at that. He's quite good at cutting inside and having a shot and stuff.
But what a delivery he has!
He has unbelievable. You can't allow him, but that's what Reguilon's very good at. He's very good at quickly getting out to the player and stopping across and stopping a player.
He's got pace on anyone at the end of the day.
Exactly. So I feel like Reguilon could be Ziyech's undoing. However, Werner up against Aurier, that's a matchup I do worry about a bit. I feel like Werner might be able to get in behind. However, saying that, you got to say Aurier did very well on Sunday against Man City. He kept his concentration.
Who was he up against? Ferran Torres.
Ferran Torres, who's also a tricky customer. Probably maybe not as tricky as Werner, but still a tricky customer. So, and I thought he dealt with him really well on the right-hand side. And obviously he's going to have the help of Sissoko as well. So that is going to be a big help. Well, it depends. I think Chelsea, the thing with Chelsea, there's so many options in centre mid, you don't really know what kind of options. They have Havertz, Mount, Kante, Jorginho, Kovacic. They could really play any of those 3. I think Kante probably is nailed on, but of the others, who knows who's going to play, really. They could play any of them, and they all come up with different problems. But what we have with Ndombele and Højbjerg and Sissoko is we have energy, we have guile, and especially with Ndombele, we have that X factor, which I don't think they're going to know how to deal with, because I know Kante is coming on this season because he had a dip in form, and now he's coming back to his best form. But I think someone like Ndombele he could struggle against. I feel that.
I was watching a bit of the Chelsea Rennes game in the Champions League, and I just felt that for everyone hyping up their defensive capabilities and how good they are as a team, I felt Rennes really played the ball through their midfield and really sliced them open like butter at sometimes in that game. So, I mean, that proves that they can be got at for sure. And I feel that the midfield that we're going to put out in terms, let's say for argument's sake, Sissoko, Ndombele and Højbjerg, really can overpower them there in the middle.
I agree with you. And I think that, look, as much as their defence has improved, and 1 goal in 4 games tells me that it's improved a lot. They still haven't come up like
they haven't been tested like we're going to test them on the weekend. For sure. Let's be honest.
Exactly, and they haven't been tested like Man City tested us.
Yeah.
And when they have been tested like that, Liverpool, they conceded 2 goals. A very attacking Southampton side, they conceded 3 goals. And I know this is before their defence was shorn up, but they've still got the biggest test to come, and it remains to be seen how they're going to cope against real class, quality attacking movement and stuff like we're going to have with Kane and Son and Ndombele and Bergwijn. So, the strike forces of Burnley, Sheffield United and Newcastle are not the biggest tests. But I said that, Spurs have been saying before the City game how much our defence has improved, and we didn't really get tested. But the thing is, we did get tested on the weekend against City, and we passed it with flying colours. So now they've got to come up with their test against our strike force and see how they're going to cope. And look, I don't think we're going to roll all over them or anything going forward at all, because I think Thiago Silva's been a fantastic
ever since his debut, because he was poor in his debut against West Brom.
Yeah, but since then,
ever since then, I think he's been one of the best centre backs in the league.
Yeah, I thought at Old Trafford, he was sensational.
Well,
he was
Man
absolutely
not really
sensational.
testing anyone these days.
At the moment, well, yeah, it's not been great about Man United, but I've got to say, against Man United, he was absolutely sensational. So it's not, I know Arsenal went there and won, but it's still not the easiest of matches, Man United, and he was sensational in that game. And then they've only conceded 1 goal since then. So it's going to be tough. But I think Kane, I feel like Kane can get the better of him. I really do. I feel like Kane dropping deep, he's going to find it hard to be able to know what to do with that. We know they have Zuma helping, but I feel like if Son can get a run on Silva, that could be a big avenue for some joy. And we know how Reece James and Chilwell like to go forward, so I feel like there could be space in behind there.
All right, and when you look at the game, because obviously everyone knows about our record at Stamford Bridge. I think we've won once in the last 29 years or something.
Like
It's like some crazy stat.
Literally
crazy stat. But we've won every single away game this season.
Yeah, 100% record.
Do you think that this kind of home advantage, us going to Stamford Bridge, is kind of taken away with no fans?
I think it helps. Are they going to have 2,000 fans? Or
No,
starting from the what?
Starts next week.
Starts from okay. So yeah, I think it helps. I think we've seen this season there's been a record amount of away wins after 9 games. So I think that's definitely telling that away advantage is definitely dwindling. I think it's still there a tiny bit because you see Liverpool, they're kind of still making their home a fortress, aren't they? And there's definitely
they did lose to Atalanta at Anfield.
That's true. That is true. But in the league they are 4 out of 4, and it's a lot better than their away form has been. But I think the fact that there's no crowd there, there's no intense atmosphere, there's no people getting on your back, I think it also takes a bit away from the energy from the home team because you usually have that raw,
especially in a London derby like this.
Exactly, the atmosphere is usually intense and it's can be a bit volatile. But in this, with no fans, I think it definitely helps the away team, and especially the way we like to play. I think it could definitely help us because I think when you're pressing high and you have that intensity, it definitely helps having fans in there because it helps keep you going, keep running, and keeping that press up. And it's hard to keep those energy levels up when there's no it's not hard. It's not hard, but it's harder to keep those energy levels up when there's no fans supporting you on supporting that press and supporting you going into those crunching challenges and everything. Whereas when we're sitting deep and we're having counters and we're defending, I think it's easier to know your job and have that concentration. So we'll have to wait and see how that plays out, but I think it definitely benefits us as no fans. I think so, and we'll have to wait and see how it pans out on the day. But I think Mourinho is definitely going to want to get one over on Frank after a couple of defeats last season.
And Frank is definitely going to want to get one over Jose as well.
After the Carling Cup game. There was a bit of argy-bargy, wasn't there, on the touchline?
I mean, I think everyone knows Jose and Frank are quite close. And I think that was just on the pitch.
I'm not saying they don't like each other, but I'm just saying there's definitely a competitive spirit.
For sure. Competitive rivalry there, 100%.
For sure. They definitely would love to get one over on each other.
Does it worry you at all, because Frank played for Jose for so long, does it worry you that Lampard kind of knows Jose's tricks a little bit?
Maybe he might, but I feel like because he's just he's still very early on in his managerial days. Jose's been there and done it. I feel like Jose has that know-how, and I think Jose knows how to play some mind games. And Lampard, even though he might know a few of Jose's tricks, he's not wise when it comes to the management game just yet. So I think in this sense, even though Lampard came out on top twice last season, it's a different season. It's a completely different Tottenham, and I think Jose could come out. I'm confident Jose could come out on top in this one.
How do you assess Lampard as a manager at the moment? Do you think he's been a bit overhyped?
He's done well. He's done well since he's come to Chelsea. You've got to say, 3rd place finish last season was a decent effort considering they had the transfer ban. And I think this season he's really developed a really good squad. That
3rd place finish, though, was pretty much given to them. Nobody wanted it, did they?
Correct. Because 66 points is probably a historic...
and, he gets the job at the back of him finishing 6th with Derby and not making it into the Premier League. I mean,
the fact of the matter is he did worse than Sarri, didn't he? Sarri got sacked for what he did, and Lampard had a worse season and kept his job because he's Frank Lampard, and also because Sarri had Hazard and he didn't. So that's also fair enough.
Although Lampard did come into the job in that transfer ban.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So although he did a worse job statistically, he had there were circumstances. So I think people were more willing to give him a season.
Yeah.
I think at Derby he did okay. He kind of did a par job. He wasn't amazing, wasn't awful. Kind of got to the
looking at Derby now, they're like nearly bottom of the league.
So maybe he did a better job than people think. But I think what his undoing at Derby is when he won that semi-final. I feel like he got a bit overexcited, and you saw the way he celebrated winning that semi-final.
It was basically like celebrating winning it.
Exactly. I think he got a bit overexcited and he thought they had achieved something they hadn't achieved yet.
Yeah.
And the fact they lost the final proved that. And I think at Chelsea, he's got a lot of learning to do. I think he's developed a really good side squad. You can see that for sure.
Yeah.
But he has had the benefit of being able to spend over 200 million, which in this current climate is quite inconceivable. But they've managed to do it. So I think he's got a massive helping hand from Roman. But at the end of the day, you have to take those players and put them into a team and make them play. He's doing it at the moment.
They did sell quite a few players, and they did have a transfer ban as well. So they didn't spend money for quite a while.
Yeah, that's why it built up. That's why they've been able to get these players in the door. So, look, they've got a very impressive squad. They're playing good football as well. What worries me is they're scoring loads of goals and they found their balance defensively. So, will they be able to create a lot of chances against us? That's what I'm worried about. But I'm hoping we are. I am confident if we are able to shut them out like we were able to shut City out, that we definitely have the firepower to hurt them. That's what I'm confident about. I feel like the only thing I'm worried about is, Toby being injured. Does Rodon slot in? Does Sanchez slot in? And are they going to be as good?
A lot of people on the fan show think Toby's going to start.
Yeah, a lot of people don't believe that Toby's injured. No one believes that Toby's injured, but I do think he's injured. And if he doesn't play, is our defence going to? How depleted will our defence be? We'll have to remain to be seen. But I feel like if we can shut them out, then I think we will get a goal.
Who'd you back to take that centre back spot if Toby is out?
I think
Tanganga had a fairly good game last night.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be Tanganga though. I don't. I think it is between Rodon and Sanchez.
If it is between Rodon and Sanchez, for me, you got to go for Rodon because Sanchez, we've been there and done that in these big games with him, and he just doesn't really pass the test more or less every time.
Yeah, it all depends on what Jose has seen in training, I guess. But the fact that Rodon's been in the last few squads tells me that he might trust Rodon more at the moment. And although it is kind of a risk playing Rodon on his debut in such a big game, it might be worth the risk because Sanchez.
It worked out when we played Tanganga against Liverpool. He had the best game of his life.
Yeah, he got man of the match.
Although we didn't win the game, but still, it worked.
Yeah, because he played really well. So Rodon has all the qualities to be a very, very good centre back, and he's strong. And if it could work out well because he has a bit more pace about him as well. So it remains to be seen. It's a tough call for Jose. I'm not gonna lie, it is a tough call because I think the safer bet will be Sanchez. I think that is the safer bet. It would be because it's a risk making your debut in this kind of game.
But it's also a risk playing Sanchez.
I think it's less of a risk because he's played these big games before,
and he's prone to a mistake in them.
Yeah,
although
but
he's
also played good games.
Having said that, I do feel with Sanchez he does play better in the bigger games than he does in the smaller games.
Yeah, and I think exactly. So although this season he's kind of been error ridden whenever he's played, I feel like he's a safer bet because he's been in the club for a long time. He's not going to be. He's less likely to be overawed by the occasion than a youngster making their day. Although he's 22, so he's not like a teenager.
International as well.
He's international, but I'm just saying it's less likely to happen. Less likely to have those nerves because he's been there and done that. He was started when we won at Stamford Bridge in 2018. So I think the Sanchez is less of a risk. However, Rodon has kind of the bigger, it's the bigger chance of maybe putting in a great performance, keeping them out. Maybe. It's a difficult one. It's a really tough call. It is a tough call. And whatever Jose does, I'm going to back. But it's a tough one. But I feel like if we shut them out, if we defend like we did against Man City, I think we will get a goal. I really do. Because I feel like Chelsea, as much as their defence has improved, we can create chances against them, no doubt.
All right, so there you have it. That is our match preview. Massive 6-pointer this weekend. I cannot wait. We got to go to Stamford Bridge. We got to go there confident. We got to go there with our heads held high, put in a good performance. And if we put in a defensive performance like we did against Man City, then I don't see a reason why we can't get the 3 points on Sunday.
If Chelsea do take the lead,
the first goal is very, very important. How
many times have we conceded the first goal this season? Just Everton and United, is that it?
Possibly. I can't remember any other time.
Everton. I think it's just Everton the first day. United.
Could be. We've had very fast starts this season.
So usually we're very good at making quick starts, getting an early lead and holding on to it. If we do concede an early goal, it'll be very interesting to see how we react, because it's not in a situation we've been much this season.
I think the early goal is more important for us to get it than for Chelsea to get it, because I think if Chelsea were to get the early goal, there's a chance anyway, but I think that we can score a goal at any time with our strike force and their defence. I know their defence have been performing well, but as you said, they haven't been really tested. But Spurs' defence, I personally believe, is a lot better than Chelsea's defence. And if we can put in a performance like we did against Man City and get the first goal, it'll be very hard for Chelsea.
I think Jose could be the difference in this game, because I feel like the way his defensive structure and the way he sees the game is proven to work.
Yeah.
And Lampard's hasn't yet, so we'll see.
I agree. I completely agree with that. Anyway, come and join us on our live watch along on Sunday at 4:15 for the game. Absolutely massive game. I can't wait to get into it. Join us on Sunday for the watch along, and straight after for the post-match fan show, where you can have your say on the game. Thank you for joining us today. Like, subscribe and comment. And as always, come on you Spurs.